Hi, everybody, and welcome to Book Club with Bay. I am Bay, and this is Bay. Say hi, Bay.
Hi, Bay.
And this is other Bay. Say hi.
Hello, I'm doing my nails.
Same. I was about to because I have one nail, no nail polish on. And so today we were talking about what is it? My Soul to Steal. It feels
These titles are so confusing.
It feels like every book has been titled My Soul to Steal. I don't know why. It just I'm like, haven't we already done that? But I guess not.
I'm so glad we're about to, because we have one more My Soul too, right?
No, the next one
No,
is
this
If
is
I
the
Die.
last one.
The next one's If I Die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
So
to
the
be
next one's spicy.
not to be confused
Yes.
with If I Should Die by Amy Plum.
Forever
But-
love that book.
But you know, it's just If I Die. So ratings. Don't stand, first of all.
Yeah, John Stan.
I don't not stan. And
I think we can speak for Mara when we say don't stand.
yeah, and so my food rating would be like rotten clam chowder.
Ew.
I've never had rotten clam chowder, but I imagine this book is a lot what rotten clam chowder would be
That's
like.
disgusting.
Incredibly disgusting and incredibly awful and a really bad experience overall. So that's what I'm going with. So your turn.
I don't know. I try to think about these in advance and then my brain just stops thinking about them. And then I get here and I'm like, So for me, it was like this book was kind of a means to an end because this book was the means to the getting to Damon and Elena being a thing. Which also in my rewatch of Vampire Diaries, Damon just kissed Elena. So
Yay. But can we also admit, like, I'm sorry, it feels like this book didn't need to.
no, this book did not need to happen. So it was like, so you're like starving, and so you open your pantry, and there's just like one thing in there that you've had for like way too long, and it's not expired because it's like a canned good or something, but you've had it for way too long, and you're like, I have no other thing to eat in my house, and I don't want to eat it because I've had this thing for like 8 years, and it's not like I just fuck.
It's like a frozen kid cuisine that you open and you're like, and it has ice all over it, and you're having to like,
Yes,
like you
that is
chop it out
that
with an
is
ice
perfect.
pick. Like,
Yeah,
it's one of
I'm
those.
taking that. Yep.
It
It was the
Also-
sentiment of what I was saying.
Yeah.
I get
Also,
to
yeah,
fight with it.
you accurately spoke for me, by the way.
The
Yeah,
dog fan.
yeah.
Good.
I
Oh,
forgot.
well.
I forgot how bad. I was overwhelmed with rage.
Yeah, like same. Honestly, I was just raging the entire time. So
What?
one thing too, before I forget, let me just say this out. Like I just need to get it out because I
Mhm.
feel like I'm gonna forget. One thing that because we already established this was a spoiler. They make out next book. We know that Damon and Elena
Yeah.
make out next book, and so also I'm submitting this to the council. Vote to rename Nash to Stefan because he's an off-brand Stefan. So I was expecting for Kaylee to start to actually like Damon. Also, by the way, his name is Todd. It's just that this is clearly a Stefan and Damon ripoff. In any case,
Well, these came out before, right?
no, like Vampire Diaries was out like in the 90s.
No,
like,
not
no,
the
we're
books,
talking-
the show.
What? Let me do a research. Give me a second.
Yep. Go for it.
Um.
I'm gonna turn on the overhead light because Christian's on here and he can't stop me from using power.
Full Screamers, Goodreads, because that'll give us a thingy thing. And Vampire Diaries TV show. Okay, so Vampire Diaries started in 2009. And these books were started being published in 2009.
Oh, okay.
So My Soul to Lose, My Soul to Take, and My Soul to Save were published 2009. Keep,
Oh, wow.
Reaper, and Steel were 2010. And then we've got If I Die was 2011. Then Never to Sleep Before I Wake and with Never to Sleep Before I Wake was 12, and With All My Soul is 13. So they started around the same time.
Okay.
Okay. Either way.
Yeah. Also, okay, yeah, because I put a note in the side chat. Now, Kayla's behavior this whole book was like, freaking kill me. But then they try at the end to be like, oh, it wasn't her fault. She was being influenced. No, she wasn't. Want to know why? Because it didn't seem out of freaking character. That's why. That's why I think that explanation is bullshit.
One thing I was gonna say though is
so
that
weird.
like I was because we all know that her and Todd make out next book. I was so the reason and I read ahead because I just wanted to get to it, and so I read ahead to that part. The one thing I will say is that I was actually expecting her to start to like
have
the feels in this book because that would make sense.
Yeah, I would agree.
Like, you need her to start to kind of drift, like adrift in the ocean to like, woo, Todd,
No.
so that it makes sense. But no, she's just firmly like, I want to boink Nash, and that's how I feel.
Well,
and it's like
in this book, it's not even she wants to boink Nash. It was like, no, I
just want him.
I want to.
I meant like.
I don't want to
like
play with him right now, but I might want to again in the future. So I kind of want him sitting there on the shelf waiting for me.
Yeah, I need him on the back burner.
Right. Like she was like, I'm firmly in Camp Nash, and she's not even looking elsewhere. And so I know we're not talking about next book, but
we're talking about next book.
Just okay. But even like while I was thinking about it, and this is why I was curious enough to read ahead in the first place. Was I was like, how the fuck do you even get from like her not having any interest in anybody else,
such a boner,
and her not giving a fuck about anybody else, to her like
I don't know that,
and that's all. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not saying anything about next book. I'm just saying, like, as an author, if you know that's what's going to happen. Because there's clearly setup in there from like the Todd part.
Yeah, on Todd's end.
On Todd's end, but there's no setup. But there's no setup on Kaylee's end. And you have to set that up.
Yeah, because we're in her head.
Yeah, you have to start. You have to have her like start to be like, okay, maybe
I kind of want to boink, but not boink
like,
because.
Or even if it was just I think the closest they got was like when they were holding hands when they were doing the spy, and she got a little bit of a like, what is that going a flutter in the tum-tums?
Yes.
Yeah. So there was like,
we needed more of those little moments.
Right. But like also that moment should have happened like last book.
Yeah.
And then it would have been like more, because also like right now in this book, they're officially broken up. Which gives Kaylee, which means that it's not immoral of her to like start to think about other stuff.
Even if there was just more of the slight, like, oh, what is this chemical reaction happening in my buds? If we had even just more of that this book, I would have been satisfied.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like if it had just happened like once the book before, and then like a little bit more of this book. And again, like because she's not with Nash right now,
it's fine.
It's fine because they're officially broken up.
Yeah,
and he did a bad,
moral.
So that's okay.
Right.
So like we're not morally doing something wrong, so it's all good. We're all good in the hood.
Plus, we have our favorite new character, Sabine.
Me.
Kill me.
Mara's here.
I texted the group chat and I said, Mara, you're ruining my life.
And I was like, oh God, is this like serious? Because she said Mara instead of Bay. I was like,
and then you started reading the book and you were like, Mara, you're ruining my life.
Yeah, no, I was gonna text it, but I didn't want to steal your joke. But
so
honestly, let her have Nash. Who gives a fuck anymore? Let her have Nash.
Yeah, like honestly, I will say, like with the like envy influence thing, right? Yeah, with Kaylee, I don't buy that as an excuse because I don't think a single one of us reading it was like, wow, Kaylee's acting really out of character.
No.
No.
I was like, this is
No.
psycho, this book.
Whereas Sabine, she's herself, but amped up. So like, don't judge Sabine too harshly based on this book. Although I will say though, the amount of just like virgin shaming coming from Sabine's
Oh, I
book,
know.
I'm like, this is not how girls bitch fight in high school. Like,
No,
there
I'm
might
like,
be
I don't
like,
know what high school you went to, but
like, I mean, like I can understand if there was like the occasional thing of like, Nash is gonna
well, at
pick
least they
me
put
'cause
out.
like I can accept one or two of those digs throughout the course of the book, but like she's yelling at it for 10 minutes.
It was every single fight. It got
Every
brought
single
up
fight
that they
was
haven't blinked.
every single fight between them was, well, my smush cookie's looser than your smush cookie.
Yeah, and like, I'm sorry, but that's
honestly,
something people brag about in high school.
And honestly, in my experience, it's usually the opposite.
Yeah.
It was all, at
Well,
least for
especially
us,
where we went to school.
where we went to school, it was always the opposite. It was always like, well, I haven't had sex yet, so fuck off.
And
Like,
they're in Texas. They're in Texas. So a private school elsewhere is Texas in terms of
True.
like opinions.
right. So like just throwing that out there, like if you're talking about a small town in Texas, it probably would have been the complete opposite. It wouldn't have been like, well, I've had sex with him. It would have been like, well, he doesn't feel the need to have sex with me.
And he still loves me, bitch. But can we
Yeah.
just for a
He
moment
loves me.
skip ahead? Can we just go to our Lord and Savior, Todd, for being just in total like, listen, you should let her have Nash because you want him, but you don't need him. And guess what? They both need someone. They need each other. They like, y'all don't need each other. Let her have him.
Yeah,
And I was like,
Kaylee wants a Nash because she's just because again she wants the option to be able to play with him at a later date. Should she so choose?
Yeah.
I feel like a Dr. Zeus book right now. Yes.
Well, I mean, and here's the one compliment I can give this book is that it does deal with like an interesting issue that a lot of people will deal with in their lifetime with relationships when they're younger, and that is like something happens and now things are not as they were, and it's really hard to let go of said relationship because you're like, now what do I do?
Yeah.
And obviously it's very difficult.
Yeah.
But
sometimes you just gotta let it do a thing though.
Yeah.
What was the
Like,
thing
it's
Nash
also,
said?
like-
No, continue talking. I have to search.
One of the things like Todd pointed out as well was like, like you and Nash had like a nice, cute little fairy tale thingy thing, and it's been tainted now. And like I agree, like when you have like that like ideal, like perfect little relationship where
And then one of you becomes a drug addict. Yeah.
like if there's some sort of betrayal that occurs within said relationship, you can't ever really go back. And both Nash and like you can find a way to move forward and develop a new relationship. Sure, it's hard though, but both Nash and Kaylee are just like, I just want things to be how they were before, and it's like, well, it's never gonna be how it was before.
No.
And like neither one of you are willing to accept that.
Yeah. So there was one moment this entire book where I liked Nash, and I'll read it to you.
I was team Nash so much in this book.
Okay, but there was one moment where I was like, hell yeah, Nash. And it's when he said, you'll just have to believe me when I say her problems are bigger than a bitchy cousin, an absentee dad, and a species identity crisis. I was like, Nash is his last name Hudson? Nash Hudson, everybody.
Yeah, and then the funniest part was like Kaylee's reaction. She was like, how dare you?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
All the problems.
Here's the thing about Kaylee, this book, okay? I get that he's your almost sort of maybe not boyfriend.
Yeah.
But he's not your boyfriend right now.
No.
You decided that you didn't want him anymore, and for fair reasons.
Yes.
But you don't get to get mad at him, okay? For doing things that a not boyfriend would do.
How much self-flagellating does Nash have? Like, does she expect Nash to do this book?
All of it.
Yeah, because she's also like, look, I refuse to even discuss your drug problems, and he's like, okay, well, I need someone to support me through my ongoing addiction, because he keeps on referring to him as a former addict. No, he's not a former addict. If he's still craving it, he's still an addict.
Mm-hmm.
And he needs support through his addiction. And she's like, well, there's only one person. I know that there's only one person willing to support you through your addiction, but I don't want you. I don't want you getting support from her.
Or I don't want you to hang out with her because she'll lay on your bed until well past 2 a.m. And I'm like, y'all aren't fucking dating. I'm sorry. You dumped him. He can sit on his bed at past 2 a.m. with whoever the fuck he wants to. It's like shit or get off the pot. That was Todd's speech essentially. Is shit or get off the pot and get off the pot. That's my recommation.
Well, yeah, like here's
like you don't want him. Sorry, go.
I was just gonna say, like, here's just a thing about life in general. Life advice from Book Club with Bae. Okay, sometimes people go through things like drug addiction or something like that, and when they're trying to get better, it's not pretty. It's usually not pretty at all. And if you do not want to date somebody through that, that's totally fine, and that's completely up to you. But you
need to allow them.
But you also don't get to act like a self-righteous ninny and get to be like, I don't want to date you like that, but I'm going to date the rest of you. No, that's not how that works. You either date them or you get the fuck out and don't
let them heal.
People like that, because that's fucking rude.
The only because Kate, because she's like, well, why can't you like go to Todd for help? And he's like, because he's team you.
Yeah, because he's your new knight in shining armor. Which is what Nash didn't say was because he's in love with you. You ninny. Yeah. I love that word. Thank you for reminding me it exists.
But like, you've got two options, Kaylee. One, be willing to accept Nash for all his flaws and help support him through his addiction. Or let him get support elsewhere. Yeah.
Letting get support from someone who needs support as well, and who they can help each other.
Right. And that's the thing, like, because like I said, again, life advice from Book Club with Bae, in real life, if you don't want to deal with that IRL, that's fair, because it's not fun for anybody involved, and that's totally cool. But also, you don't get to be like, so you're going to put your life on pause, get no support from anybody, and I'm just going to wait till you get better, and then you're going to come back to me, right? No.
Oh, no. If I'm willing to forgive you at that point.
Right. Yeah. No. You look. You can just admit that the relationship's damaged. It's not going to work, and we're all going to have to go our separate ways and heal.
Yeah.
Kaylee. Because did Nash do a bad? Yes, but
that said though as well, it's not with Nash as well, right? Like, I do have a lot of sympathy for the drug addiction side of his arc, because it's not like it would be different as well if someone's at a party and they're like, oh yeah, I'll try ice, knowing what the consequences are of becoming addicted to ice. Mm-hmm. No, Nash was accidentally exposed to a highly addictive substance. Yes, by Kaylee.
And she acknowledges this, but is not willing to support him or even speak to him about it. And then
I get it. I get as well that his behavior was, not appropriate. And I can see, but at the same time as well, though, an addict's actions during addiction is not always strictly their fault, I guess.
Yeah. Or it's not what their actions would be normally.
No, not at all.
And it's not how they would normally behave if they were under the influence.
And I'm far less forgiving if someone chose to take steps to become addicted to a substance because they chose to take those steps.
Where it was like,
he didn't choose the steps.
It's like, hey, you want some meth? And you're like, fuck yeah, give me that meth. Like, that's your fault. It's your fault for saying, yes, I would love some heroin. However, if you one day just got heroin in your weed or something, and then you're addicted to heroin, well, if you don't die, then you're addicted to heroin, you know, that you were just smoking some weed, bro.
Well, there are also other things that lead people to addiction, like other outstanding circumstances that are beyond their control. But like depression and stuff like that.
Yeah,
can,
but I mean, just like
people in a really dark place, you know. But like,
Nash's addiction wasn't his fault.
And it was so cut and dry, not his fault. But it's like the way that she blamed
so much gray area.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can understand her being like, look, as long as you stay in a cleany clean, we'll try and make this work. And if you relapse, then I'm out there as well, because you don't have to be with a drug addict.
No. But if you're going to be, you have to know your role in that and like be there to help and, you know, support.
And like addicts as well will like a lot of people who actually have actively been addicted to stuff, they never ever refer to themselves as a former addict. Like you almost never hear someone say, oh, I'm a former you almost never hear someone say, oh, I'm a former alcoholic. Even 30 years after their last drink, they're still like, I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Because they know that as soon as they have that one drink, they're going to be addicted again.
Yeah.
So, like, Nash is going to be a drug addict for the rest of his life, even if he doesn't have a single bit of demon's breath for the rest of his life. And Kaylee doesn't seem... And I also get she's 16. She's not emotionally mature enough to understand it. But don't make me sit through it either.
But I don't want to fucking read it. I don't want to read your immaturity.
Yeah, and I'm really sick of, like, I got so sick of, I want to be with you as long as you are 100% over it, and I am 100% forgiving of you, and we never ever have to talk about it ever again.
Well, because he's like,
that's unhealthy.
Sometimes I have to apologize.
Well, it's one thing if like you're sitting through it and she grows from it, and she like learns, and she like, you know, comes to the, okay, well, it was technically my fault that he got addicted to it, and it wasn't his fault. He didn't choose this, and I should let him talk to me about it if I really want to be with him. It would be one thing if there was a real arc there, but it's not, because she doesn't learn anything.
No.
She learns nothing. At the end of the day, Kaylee is still somehow right, and it's just like,
like, and I understand as well, like, I would be willing to sit through the complex emotions of him selling his emotions with Kaylee as opposed to his emotions with Sabine.
Yeah.
Because he didn't sell those memories. But one could argue, though, is that, like, you know, he's with Kaylee so he can make new memories with Feeling.
Yeah.
Or even, like, he could have argued that those memories were worth more.
Yeah, but like Avari was like, no, I don't want your fucking shitty ex-girlfriend memories. I want
I want your current girlfriend to give me more to you.
Memories that like meant something to him. Like,
and also,
that really meant something to him.
Avari has a Kaylee boner. Like,
yeah, he does.
So
the
like,
amount of times he's tried to assault her.
So if they really wanted to like go down that road, there could have been a way to explain that in a way that wasn't just like he likes Sabine better.
Yeah.
Like it could have been like that but like he had to give up memories that really, really meant something to him, like currently. Or it could have been like, Avari wanted memories of Kaylee. Or it could have been like an explanation that wasn't just he wanted to remember Sabine and not Kaylee.
Yeah. But we never really got to explore.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Because
you never get an explanation for it, but
maybe we do next book. I don't know. Like I remember some of the major plot points of next book, but I don't remember.
God, I'm so excited. But next book, honestly, we get to make out.
It's in a messy way.
I don't care if it's a messy way. I just want it to happen.
Oh no, you're gonna be there for the drama next book.
Yeah, the drama is. It's a
I'm
lot.
ready for the tea, buddy.
It's a lot.
There will be all of the tea, I promise. Not a single tea shall be left behind.
Good. I want all them leaves in my little teacup.
Also,
So-
you're gonna hate Kaylee so much next book as well. All I
Well,
will
she's
say,
hanging out with Todd. She already has one saving grace for her.
no. It's going to be in relation to her relationship with Sabine next book.
Oh.
There's
What
gonna
if
be
I
a
don't like
couple
Sabine?
Kaylee does. You'll like her because she's not Kaylee.
Oh. We'll see about that. I really don't like Sabine.
I don't necessarily. I'm not going to promise that you're going to love Sabine, but you're not going to.
Yeah.
You're not going to
Next
feel
book,
the
I like
same.
her. I like her next book.
Yeah.
All right.
There are a lot of
wait.
situations in
Oh,
the
wait.
next book where I'm like, I'm team Sabine and Kaylee can go fuck herself because that was rude.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about, and it was
I withhold judgment.
It was
it was-
so rude.
it was so ridiculous. I was like, I can't believe you.
But like how heartbreakingly sweet was Sabine? Like it was just like, oh,
I'm taking the AirPod out, guys. Like, y'all just want to talk about next book? I'll take the AirPod
I'm
out.
sorry. We'll go back to this one.
Well, you know what? We'll do next book really, really soon because like I know we'll do Morganville soon, but like we'll
Yeah.
do next book like really soon.
Also, I will
and
say
then we'll do Morganville after
I
that.
can
Yeah.
I
So we'll do
Yes.
next book and then do Morganville after we do the next book, so that like you don't have to be sitting there in suspense for what we're talking about. Because
So
like,
they're just fucking confused.
she's behaving. Okay, the main reason why I didn't want you reading ahead is so then that way I can't talk about it yet.
okay. Anyway, so this book plot we haven't gotten there yet.
Sabine
God,
shows
what
up.
is the-
There you go. There's the plot.
Yeah, the plot is Sabine.
Bavari's a bitch and Sabine's here. Cool. That's this book.
There you go.
That's literally
Yeah, so
it. Haley
which volume
punches
is-
Sabine at some point.
Okay,
Yeah.
so in chapter, you wrote down, but I never would have guessed that the most infuriating beast of all I had yet to meet my boyfriend's ex-girlfriend was the thing of nightmares. Literally.
And then I just wrote, what is the next bullet point?
Oh, like
Okay,
oh,
I have a question though. Do we ship Emma with Alec?
Read my notes.
Because
You'll
I
get there.
Because I do. And Bay, should I
Can
wait, should I waste my time shipping Emma with
Yeah, should
Alec?
be.
No?
no.
Interesting. It's missed opportunity.
The fuck?
That's a
I'm
waste
not going to go
opportunity.
into why. I'm not going to go into why because that's too spoilery. But the answer, in short, is no. Do not.
Does
waste
he get a female?
I will not disclose what
Does
happens
Alec
between
dies?
either of them. Maybe he does. Maybe Emma dies. Maybe they both die. Maybe neither die. Who knows?
God damn it, Mara.
Maybe they each get other significant others, but they all do get puppies.
They do all get
They
puppies. That's how
all
the
get
book ends.
puppies. Yes, they do.
That
They
is
get
what I'm going to
Pomeranian.
disclose.
They do all get puppies. Okay. So it's like the second semester of junior year. She's still in love with Nash. They're talking, but she needs time. She always needs time. That's all she needs this book. She's just like, I need time to like forgive you. And Nash is like, but like, what do I do? And she's like, you whip yourself more. And he's like, okay, I did that. Can I come back now? And she's like, no, go fuck yourself. And he's like, okay, I pegged myself. Can I come back now? And she's like, no, go jump off a bridge. And he's like, okay, I jumped off a bridge. Can I come back now? And she's like, no, go stick yourself in the eye with a needle. And he's like, okay, I did that. Can I come back now? And she's like, no, go set yourself on fire. And he's like, okay, and I'm gonna come back now. And she's like, no.
Honestly,
That's
I would take back every single bad thing I ever said about Nash if he had just gone, you know what, Kaylee?
Fuck
And
you. I'm
walk
gonna
off.
go make out with Sabine. And that's it.
Same.
Publicly.
Same.
right in front of you. Where is she? Sabine, come.
Sabine, appear. I need to make out with you in front of the whole school.
Sabine, come to me.
It feels like it's been so long since I got into.
Oh, and then they're going to dance their way out of the room.
Why does everything regress back to House of Night?
I don't know.
And why is
It's
it
always,
still?
it's always House of Night
Some
and
of our
Mercy
most
Falls.
favorite
Those are our
memes.
two
Our
reference
most favorite memes. Our favorite memes from these streams have come. Like, Kelowna Dance doesn't exist outside of House of Night. Okay.
No. Neither does. Also, I think House of Night is still just one of the most fun books series that we've ever done.
I'm not gonna. I honestly, I'm still in really mixed mindsets about Dysisters because like I'm sad, but I'm also happy that it's done.
Yeah, same.
Because I mean, I don't think I could listen. Oh well, yeah, listen because I've listened. Listen to them sing Another Tornado Away, but I'm also devastated that I'll never be able to experience that again. They rockabillied the plane to a safe landing.
I
Okay.
want the Dysisters like TV show because I need that like in TV. Like I need to watch two teenagers sing at a tornado. I'm sorry. Like
it's something about the cast duo that's just like that's always going to be so much fun for us to do the cast duo.
Fucking iconic, okay? Like there's something so stupid and so iconic about singing at a tornado. And then they're like,
but about everything that the cast do.
Yeah.
There's something so iconic about that duo.
In any case.
Yeah.
So yes, we meet Sabine, the ex-girlfriend. And then Todd's like technically speaking, they never broke up. And okay, so also I want to talk about Todd's voice in the audiobook because it is terrible.
Addie fun because I don't know if you had heard it before, but
you showed it to me on screen
now. Okay. Yeah, so this is like the endgame love interest voice for the books. Like,
you know what I think happened?
I love you.
I think what happened was like she wasn't given any I think the narrator wasn't given any direction as to who Todd actually was. And so
she could have changed his voice. I would have been happy with the voice change.
Yeah, I know. I think what happened was she was like told that he was a Grim Reaper and that was it. And so she gave him a Grim Reaper voice, and then it turned out he was a person, and then she was like, fuck. And so then she was just kind of stuck with the voice.
What, you mean that not all authors give, like, 10-page Google Docs to their book narrators?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing,
That's what we do.
When publishers pick a narrator...
You just get pats on the head.
When publishers pick a narrator, they don't give them these kinds of notes or direction. This is why you get weird, like, so you know how in Alpha and Omega and like the Mercy Thompson series, things are pronounced differently. It's because Patricia Briggs is not giving them individually like notes.
Well, not just that as well, but like beyond she.
Beyond she. Yes.
We have up to chapter 16 for BTBOR, by the way.
We what? Sorry.
We have up through chapter 16 now.
What? What happened? Oh no.
I thought he just said I forgot to put pants on.
No, my dog broke my dad's camera.
Jinx!
Wait, what kind of camera?
Look, I don't know.
Is it like okay? Because like if it's like an $80 camera, like bad jinx, but like okay. If it's a DSLR, not good.
Then bad jinx,
Very bad jinx.
What's wrong?
Noah.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
I have extra headphones.
You know what? You know what's going to be interesting to discover if when the two of them are actually living together, if his interruptions will increase or decrease.
The stream.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. So,
Because we already know his interruptions make the stream longer.
like, significantly.
Yes. When the boys are here, the stream is like thrice the size. Because remember your birthday? We streamed for like 4 hours.
Yeah,
And
because
Christian had to be up at 5.
we couldn't
And
get
we
them
were
to stop
still.
talking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they just wouldn't stop talking.
Was that
So-
the Dizes stream?
Yeah.
That was, yes.
Yeah, I think so.
We had 5 hours of shit to talk about, all right? That book was
so long.
And we talked about the book pretty much the entire time too. It wasn't one of those where we streamed for 3 hours,
Yeah,
we talked about the book for 20 minutes.
Yep.
No.
Right,
streamed
right.
for,
It
like,
wasn't one of those where we
5
started
hours.
talking about dead bodies for an hour and
No. It was we started talking about Die Sisters and we talked about Die Sisters for fucking 4.5 hours.
That there was a lot to discuss.
there really
There was a
was
lot to
okay,
unpack.
okay. Bringing it back. So we get our back
Yes,
we did get our backstory on Sabine.
So, yeah,
and
this
like immediately it is a love triangle. Basically. But like not really. But like yeah, because
But not yet, baby.
because immediately like Nash runs up to her and hugs her and Kaylee's just pissed off. Like Kaylee's just angry at the world and Emma's like, ooh, drama, popcorn. And
Love Emma. Stan.
yeah, Emma we stan. And like
Yeah. So, also just context. This is 2 weeks after, like about 2 weeks after last book, and it's just been winter break.
I do love that like Kaylee has decided that he's a former drug addict after 2 weeks.
When he's still actively battling his addiction.
It's not how this works at all.
Oh, you don't like not I like a lot of rehab center like programs are 90 days.
Yeah. That's your your first milestone is really 90 days. That's your first big milestone.
Like that's the biggest like yeah, one of the big milestones is like the big milestones are like 30, 60, and 90 days. And those are like the big milestones and like after that. And
there's a reason why like, you know, like there's a lot of alcoholics where like their 1 year is like such a milestone because some of them have come like days shy of their 1 year, like 10 times by the time they actually get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, and it depends on your personality as well. Like some alcoholics, for example, can get to the point where like they haven't had a drink in 20 years and they can occasionally have a glass of champagne at their daughter's graduation and it's not going to send them off the deep end anymore. But a lot of them, if they touch alcohol again, it's done. You're fucked. You got to start from scratch again. And it's the same with drug addiction as well, because alcohol is a drug. But like all of the drug addictions, like you cave once and you're fucked. And that's like even 60 years later.
Yeah.
And Nash has 500 years of this to look forward to.
And it's been 2 weeks, and Kaylee's like, "Why aren't you better yet?"
Yeah, like why aren't you okay? Oh, also, I'm pissed that like when they have their reunion at school, he's like, "I just wanted to see your face and hear your voice," and she's like, "Translation: You didn't even call me or visit me." And it's just like, no, he's saying like, I wanted to see you. Like he wasn't accusing you of shit. He was just like,
yeah. Well, also, yeah, he knows that you dumped him.
And you were mad.
Been dumped.
With Grayson. Like she was right to dump him.
Yes.
From what, like, despite what I was saying before, she was right to say, "I'm done," especially like immediately after. Like, but you've had 2 weeks to process, like as well. Like it's you've had 2 weeks to develop an ounce of empathy.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're gonna have it, dude.
Yeah, if she doesn't have empathy by now, then she's never gonna get it, and they just need to move on.
Listen to Todd.
Listen to Nash, because Nash is also saying, like, look, please, like, either take me back or let me go. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm here. I'm not ready to move on until you tell me I should move on. And she's like, but I don't know. I want you to yet.
The theme of this book is shit or get off the pot.
Yeah.
Do it or don't. Like, just
and everyone's telling us. Emma is, Alec is, Nash is, Sabine is, Todd is. Harmony isn't, but that's also because like Harmony's like, look, you're a bit more stable, a stable influence than Sabine. So obviously, as his mother, like, please make it work.
But also, like, it's fine. Harmony's still gonna win.
Yeah.
Like, and that was another thing as well. Like, when Kaylee finds out about Sabine, one, she's upset that Nash, in the 2 months that they dated, with, you know, a lot of shit happening, they've had a very busy relationship. She's like, why did you never tell me that you had a girlfriend prior to the millions of girlfriends you previously had? And
Well, she's
oh my god,
different.
did your mother like her? Please tell me your mother. And he's like, of course my mom liked her. And she's like, ugh.
It's Harmony. Harmony likes everyone.
And that's what Nash said. He's like, have you met my mother? Like, I'm pretty sure she would have like given the guy that killed Todd a hug if he apologized.
Yeah.
Like, or that they think killed Todd. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie as well. I'm not down for Todd being the name of a love interest.
Todd's a good douchebag name.
Oh, it's like Nash works as a love interest name.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if she always planned for Todd to be.
Yeah.
And
Bless you.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know if that was always planned or not. Oh,
Bless
fucking
you.
hell.
TJ, you good?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm just sneezing. It's so humid here, so I have to like have the AC cranked all the way up so I'm not like just sweating while existing. And it's making me sneeze.
I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry.
I don't know what to do.
There was a headphone debacle.
Is it resolved?
Maybe.
Perhaps.
That just reminded me of something because I was just like, freaking boys. But last time when I went to bed, Stixie was already asleep. And I lay in bed and he rolls over and grabs me, like not in a way, but just in the like way.
Yeah.
And then he goes to me, I'm releasing my teams. I'm like, wait, what? And then he's like, what? I'm like, did you just say I'm releasing my teams? And he goes, yeah. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? And then he rolls back over to his side and I'm like, babe, what does that mean? And he goes, it's really late. Go to sleep. I'm tired. And then rolls over and goes to sleep.
Do we all have recent
all have-
boyfriends
Yeah.
talking in their sleep stories? Because the other night,
This is the funniest thing ever. Yours is so funny.
No.
Didn't happen.
Shut the fuck
No,
up.
that didn't happen.
He literally shook me awake, okay? He shakes me awake and he
This
goes,
didn't happen.
shut up, it did. He shakes me awake and he goes, the dragon parts are here. And I was like, what? And he said, like, the dragon parts are here. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because I'm like half asleep. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm like on board with this. I'm like, the dragon parts are here. Okay.
We're gonna build the dragon.
I was like, what does that mean? And he was like, you know what? I'm tired. I'll tell you in the morning. And I was like, no, the dragon parts are here. And he was like, good night. And so we went back to sleep. And so I woke up the next morning and like, I'm still really tired. So I shake him awake and I'm like, what the fuck about the dragon parts?
Can I explain myself?
And you didn't even know what I was talking about.
I have a vague memory. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I hear you.
Yes.
I have a vague memory of this. And basically, I remember saying it. And then when she said, explain yourself, I had an explanation in my head, but I was too tired to formulate the words. And so I was like, in my head, explanation, but I was like, no, I'm too tired. I'll tell you in the morning. And I fully intended to. I remember that. I obviously had no explanation for where the dragon parts were.
Because usually, like when he like says something to me, like immediately after waking up, if I question him on it, he'll be like, "Oh," and then he'll have no idea what he was talking about, and he'll be like, "Sorry, I just woke up." But I was hoping that like there was enough of his dream self left in there to explain it to me. But he just got mad and told me to go to sleep because it's really late. And then I texted
The other
him,
night,
and I was like, "This happened."
I was playing Choices because he has to go to bed early because he wakes up freaking at the crack of dawn for work. So I played games on my phone until I'm ready to go to sleep. And like I rolled over facing him because I was like, I'm tired of laying on the other side. And so he turns over and I'm like, oh shoot, my phone light, lock my phone, put it under the pillow. And then he just goes, you owe me the sauce. And I was like, what? He's like, you owe me sauce. And I was like, okay. And I just like, okay. And the next morning he was like, I was having a dream that we were making pad thai sauce. And then you got rid of it. And I was really mad at you.
So you
I
had
couldn't
this
find the sauce.
explanation for it.
Yeah, so I
at least yours got explained.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, because after he went back to sleep, I texted him explaining what had happened. And his response this morning, because he was at, like, you know, because he gets up before me and goes to work because, you know, he brings home the bacon and wins the bread in this house. And his response was, I don't know. It sounds like I was releasing my teams.
What does that mean, Stixie?
I don't know. And then I was talking to him on the phone, and I was like, do you know? He's like, I don't know. And then he got mad at me for expecting him to maybe know what he was telling me last night. It was just random.
Men.
I know, right?
I mean, these are at least fun stories. Anyways, yes, we should.
Uh-oh.
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 Headphones are done bye-byes.
What?
Rest in peace.
My headphones went bye-byes.
Didn't you just get new AirPods?
It wouldn't be a book club stream without headphone drama.
Give me a
You've already had some.
I know. We've met our quota. Stop it.
She can't hear you. Headphone problems.
I know. It's ridiculous.
Oh, they're back.
Here.
Yay.
I was saying, like, we've met our quota. You didn't have to do that.
You didn't have to sabotage your AirPods.
No, I'm thinking I might turn off like the automatic switching thing because I think it's because I opened my phone.
Yeah.
I'm like, sometimes it works really well, and other times it's just like, why? I'm listening to something on there just because I've opened my phone doesn't mean I want that. If there is a video playing on my iPad, I don't want the sound to transfer to my phone. If that's okay. It's rude.
So we get the backstory on Sabine. We find out that she is Amara.
Yeah, she
Hey.
Amara.
How many freaking kids are in her family?
What?
She must have well, Mara, because Mara's are special.
Yes.
Special.
But this is why I texted the group chat saying, Mara, you're ruining my life. I'll be reading this book.
Yeah, so like banshees have to have like at least one banshee parent. We find out in this book Alec is half hypnos. He had a hypno parent. Like all of the species have to be born to a species, you know, except the Maras. They're very special. They're born the seventh daughter of a seventh daughter is born a Mara.
Yeah. Generational.
Yep. So their families are human, and it's just like, you know, oh wait, no, we have a seventh daughter of a seventh daughter incoming. Let's Mara her, and then she gets married. And
time to suck your dream or suck your fears through your sleep holes.
Yeah. So from that, I gather if Sabine has children, like with a human, they'll be human unless she has 7 daughters, and then the 7th daughter will also be a Mara. Or if she breeds with Nash, because we know that him and Kaylee are not endgame. Yeah. They've got a 50-50 shot of being banshees.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know if she can breed. I don't think we ever find out if Maras can reproduce though.
Well, You can, Mara. So I'm
I
assuming
can.
that all
Yes.
Maras can.
Yeah. So what they so what
You
they
have
do-
reproduced. They're 4.
I have. So mayhaps. I mean, I would argue though that my daughter is a living nightmare. Also, so maybe it just gets passed
Are
on to all
you a 7th daughter of a 7th daughter, or is she the 7th? No, she the 7th daughter of the 7th daughter.
Well, she's not, but maybe my parents had an extra 4 daughters that they didn't tell me about. Mayhaps that happened.
But so the way that it works is that they feed on fear from your dreams. So they have
Yeah.
to straddle you in your sleep while
They
you're
astral
having
project.
a nightmare.
They astral project and walk to your house. I wrote down in my notes. I'm like, oh, so she's Aiden, cool, from Blackwood, because he astral projects.
Yeah.
Um,
She astral projects and then she eats your fear in your dreams. It's not
Yeah,
so it's kind of like a succubus, but not really. So it's
No,
not like
because
the
succubus is sex
boink
related.
it's not the blinky boink.
Oh wait, there's a name for that. There's an actual creature in.
yeah, it's a Mara.
It's a Mara.
No. There's something else. There's an actual creature in some kind of mythology that does exactly that. They got it from someone.
What?
I forget, but
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a Mara.
Oh, my sound's on again.
So that's what she is. So anyway, so then we yeet over to work and stuff. So we're angry about this, and then we see Alec at work, and he's not having
We
a
also
fun
didn't
time.
find out this is Amara for quite a while though.
Yeah, but whatever. We're here.
And so he's not having a fun time at the movie theater working, and that's just the thing.
He's
So
a
then-
sleepy boy.
Then we have a dream about we have the dream about Nash and Sabine. And
These
it's a
dream
nightmare.
chapters were so short. It was so nice. But then she started adding them under the like in the middle or the end of other chapters. I was like, no, stop! I want my free chapters.
Also, like, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was
With
Amara.
everything that like Kaylee has experienced in her life, her nightmares are Nash making out with his ex-girlfriend.
I know. That's her worst nightmare. Mine would be like a kidnapping that took me to the bottom of the ocean. That would be under a bridge. That would be my worst fear.
But like, Kaylee has been to the netherworld. She's met a Bahari.
I would think Avari would be her worst nightmare.
Like being stuck in a cage of Crimson Creeper, you know? Like,
Or like something to do with Emma. Like
yeah, she's
Dying.
witnessed. Her best friends died in front of her. She got to witness Addison's torture, like the results of Addison's torture.
Yeah.
But Kaylee's like, no, what I fear the most is Nash. Yeah. No, what I fear the most is Nash giving a smoochy smooch to his ex-girlfriend.
Which she sees eventually, so who gives a crap? That was a funny scene. That was so funny.
it was funny.
I was like, thank God. Please, let's keep this train going.
Okay, so then after that we have Nash waiting by our locker, and he's clean, but Kaylee, she doesn't give a shit. Like,
Oh, that was me. Me don't care.
I know, but also she doesn't care either,
Yeah.
because he's like, I'm doing everything you want, and like I said earlier, she does not care.
No.
Like Nash could not do anything right enough for Kaylee to care.
Yeah, and I was so with Nash for most of this book until it got to the point where he made it quite clear. No, I will keep self-flagellating until you please release me from my self-flagellation. And I was just like, okay, no, grow a set now, dude. Grow a set. Grow a freaking set. And it was until that point I was Team Nash.
Yeah, no, like somebody needed to take Nash aside and be like, you're allowed to like jump ship, right?
You've like she's never gonna. This is unhealthy, Nash.
And then Nash is just like, but she's the main character. I have to. I'm in a young adult novel, and I'm not allowed to not be in love with her. So I have to.
One thing that also just really annoyed me in this book was just like all the references to like Alec is like 3 times our age. He's like 45, and I'm like, but he's not.
But he's so hot.
Like it's to say, like I think she was trying to like do the whole like well, I don't want to go down the vampire route where just because he looks 19 doesn't mean we should treat him like he's 19 because he's an old man. I'm like, well, no, he's spent. From age 19 to age 45, he was being tortured on a daily basis. He hasn't really had much time.
Sorry.
He's still a 19-year-old guy with like just like a shit ton of baggage.
Yeah, like being tortured on a daily basis does not give you the normal everyday life experiences of a 45-year-old. Hate to break it to you.
Yeah, and also like, and someone's also got to have to accept by someone I mean Kaylee. She's gonna have to accept the fact that at some point he's gonna have to date a girl who is chronologically way younger than him. Otherwise, he's gonna be like a 20-year-old guy with a 50-year-old woman, and it's gonna be weird.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he deserves the chance to have like little offspring.
He deserves so much.
He deserves all of the spawn and a puppy, and he at least gets the puppy.
He at least gets a puppy. You get a puppy. They end the book with just you get a puppy, and you get a puppy, and you get a puppy.
And Sabine's like, I don't want a fucking puppy. And she's like, you get a fucking puppy.
Harmony's like, you get a fucking puppy. Yeah, Harmony's like, well, do you want to be fucking possessed? And Sabine's like, well, no.
Do you want to know the main reason that Sabine doesn't actually want the puppy is because she's scared that the puppy won't like her because she's a nightmare.
Aww.
And she doesn't want to be rejected by the puppy.
Oh, that's kind of sad.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? So she's not being like I'm not like other girls. I don't want a puppy. It was more like no one except Nash has ever loved me. That's where it comes from. Also, poor Sabine as well. Like, honestly, like, people are just instinctually repulsed by her.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nash is the only one who has never been repulsed by her. And it's just like, can Kaylee let him go? Let him be happy.
Yeah, please let him leave.
Yeah. I
So
mean, and Sabine and Nash do need to work through, like, their codependency
a lot of issues, yeah.
But, like, at the same time, Sabine just needs a couple of friends. Nash needs to get clean, and they can be happy together, and it's going to be fine. And Kaylee needs a lot of work. But, like,
Is
Sabine
just vanish from existence?
Are Sabine and
much happier.
Nash endgame?
I know that they enter into a because it's always the way in like fictional media where like high school students have friends with benefits scenarios, and it's like people don't do this in real life. Like, high school students aren't just fucking each other while being friends.
Yeah, they're even like when you get older, you're typically just like not exclusively dating if you're doing that. That's typically what it's actually called. Your friends with benefits, like, I mean, you're dating but not exclusively.
Yeah, but
usually relationship is not like friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your relationship is more like sometimes we blink.
Yeah, they are on my booty call list.
Yeah.
But no, like obviously, like Sabine, when that occurs, Sabine still has all of the feels. Nash has some very complicated emotions happening, which is to be expected based on.
He doesn't know if he has a boner.
Well, no. More
he knows he has one.
His girlfriend
chose my dead brother
him for his dead brother, and he has issues that are as yet unresolved. I just can't remember at what point they get resolved and whether or not they develop a healthy relationship.
Well, the other problem, I guess, and I don't know if this is going to be an issue here, is that typically in at least young adult books, like 9 times out of 10, if you have like the first boyfriend or like one of them, you're in a love triangle, whoever is the non-chosen, they don't get like a happy ending. They're not like allowed.
Rose and Die for me. They don't, but like he just has to fuck off to a different continent.
Yeah, like they're not allowed like happiness or like
unless like the female point of the love triangle gets knocked up with a freaky baby and then you imprint with her upon birth. Like that's when they get the happy ending.
Yeah, there's rare.
When you fall in love with a newborn.
Right. Yeah. Right.
He doesn't fall in love with her. He's like her brother. Okay, God. Just because they blink one day is freaking irrelevant.
Just because they're destined to fuck doesn't mean that he's
doesn't mean what the fuck are
right now. We're gonna fuck later.
I know.
We're gonna fuck when it's appropriate.
Just because she's the center of his universe does not mean that he's in love with her. I get it. It's fine.
It's for all the haters on the internet.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, so Sabine, like, obviously from the beginning is just straight up flirting with Nash, and Kaylee's pissed off, even though they're not dating.
Yep.
And she's right to be pissed off. It's fine. She's still mad. And so, and then it turns out their algebra teacher's dead. Okay, pause, like real quick. Okay, so many people have died at the school. First of all, the school would be shut down. Also,
that's what I said.
The school would just be shut down. Like they would just close the school and be like, "All right, everybody out." Like we're just closing the school.
Everyone passes this year. Okay.
And then if a teacher were to die like inside the school before the school day started, they would just have
you would not have school that day
because they would still be processing like the scene.
Mm-hmm.
There would still be a bunch of official paperwork to do. There would be so much to do on scene that you wouldn't be able to wrap it up before school started.
No.
Well, because also, especially, unless there is a doctor that is willing to sign off to say this person died because of the cancer that they had growing in them almost immediately, right? It has to be treated as a crime scene until an autopsy has been done to confirm natural causes versus homicide.
Yeah.
Or suicide. One of the sides. And yeah, it takes a minute to process a crime scene. And I imagine a school classroom, which would probably then also get expanded to the school.
Mm-hmm.
But even if it was just the classroom, that's going to take a shit ton of processing because there is a lot of stuff in there that they have to get everything.
They would not let anybody on school grounds all that day.
And all of the students would be getting fingerprinted.
Yep. There would be no school. There would be zero school that day.
Probably like for a hot minute.
Yeah. Until the investigation was concluded.
Yeah, probably. Or until the autopsy was done to confirm. And if it just
cause of death.
How long it takes is really hard to say. But like at least for
yeah, it would depend on how quickly the MA could perform the autopsy.
Yeah, or even if like, because they might determine that an autopsy is not needed, because sometimes they can do that with like toxicology or something like that. But like, you know, it can just like depend, because depending on how old somebody is, they might not even perform an autopsy. Like it just depends, like completely on.
Yeah, like it would be a matter of like a toxicology would rule out need for an autopsy if there was like arsenic in their bloodstream. Or something, something obvious.
Or lethal amounts of any drug.
Yeah, but if their health wasn't a concern and there's nothing detectable in their system, then they're going to have to do a thingy thing.
Right, because like the excuse that they use in the book is that like, oh, he was really overweight or whatever. But depending on age, that they might still perform an autopsy because they don't oh, someone was really fat. And just decide that nobody could have murdered them.
You know, what they
Especially
have
at a
to
school
get
where
the evidence of a
people
heart
that die
attack.
mysteriously.
Yeah, like, no, you need to have the evidence of a heart attack or something. Like, you can't just say, oh, they were fat, therefore it must have been natural causes.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
And then, especially with the second death that happens the same freaking day.
Yeah, no,
like,
that school will be
she's
closed down
young.
for a minute.
She's young because she's got a new baby at home, which is sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's
then literally, and they're still at school after
Yeah,
it
no, there was-
happened. Like, they finished out the school day. 2 teachers have died in the same day, and they're just like, all right, finishing out the school day.
And
No,
then with all the
no.
other shit that's happening throughout like the next week or two, because I think this book's over like a week.
Yeah.
Everything else that happens the rest of the week, they're still like, oh, everyone's rioting. That's fine. Let's just carry on.
Well, like
They would
like
shut the school down so
there's
fast. Like,
I have a real world example of this. When he died, like he died at home, everything was fine. But then that day at break at school, they gathered the entire school into the cafeteria and they're like, "Hi, so we're canceling the rest of the school day because he died. Everyone go home." That's what they would do. They would be like, "Hi, someone died, very dear to our community. Go home, spend it with your loved ones. We'll be here tomorrow."
well, and
Yeah, like,
also
when did
when we were in like, and so and also like with the students that died.
Yeah, when we were kids.
So we also have experience with this because a student in our class died.
Yeah,
We were in
sixth
I
grade.
won't say okay. So when we were in 6th grade, a
We're in
student in our
sixth grade,
class
but we
died. But like, so when that happened, it happened over Christmas break, so we didn't get like school time off.
No.
But everybody in the class was called, and then the day that like we came back from school, they didn't make us like for a couple of days. We didn't do anything in school.
Yeah.
And they gave us a couple of days, even though it had been like a week or so,
because
because
we were young.
We were young, and they're like, you and I came to the school that year, but a lot of the kids in our class
They
had
grew up
been
with
in
that kid.
her, since they were like 4.
yeah.
So like it's not just something that they go, oh well, and just
No.
That's it.
continue with the school day.
Well, like even in the first book, right, when the not cheerleader, when the like when Sophie's friend dies, they're like, well,
Yeah.
school's cancelled the rest of the day, and we're gonna have a memorial at the school tomorrow, type thing.
Which
But like,
is what
actual
happened
school-
for us. We had a
Yeah.
memorial. I don't remember what class it replaced, but we had a memorial during school. And then also like in our classrooms, I remember specifically our math classroom. I don't remember about any others, but they had like a board on the back of the class where you could just write something down, just like how you're feeling. You could put it in it. And like no one
Yeah.
read it. It was just something to get your feels out. Tuck it away.
Yeah. Whereas this one, it's like, oh, 2 teachers die in a day. Well, I guess we have to find substitute teachers.
It's that taxpayer dollars we can't waste.
You know, I feel like this school, just based on the deaths, would have been shut down, but then with everything else would have been shut down
Everything
for
in this
a
book.
good hot minute.
Well,
Yeah.
also everything that happened in this book. Everyone went wild. There were so many fights at the school. There was vandalism everywhere. No, that school would be shut down.
Yeah.
One of the freaking starter basketball players broke the other one's, like both of his freaking
Both
arms.
arms.
with a golf
Yeah.
club.
Bad enough that like the bone was showing through. Like
Yeah,
School would be shut down.
Yeah, one of the teachers trashed one of the other teachers' offices and stuff. Like it all got.
they would like if not
Mhm.
shut down completely, they would at least like shut it down for the rest of the year and just be
Yeah.
like, I don't know what we're doing with the students, but something has to be done.
Yeah, like so Sophie like cuts her best friend's hair down to the scalp.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the tamer things that happens. But if there was like even like 10 of those minor incidences in a day, I think that the school district would be like, you know, something's like, is there
Something
drugs?
weird's happening here.
Is
Yeah.
there a gas leak in the building? Like people just don't go crazy en masse.
No.
Oh, also speaking of people going crazy en masse, I was low key triggered by like Jonestown being referred to in this book as, you know, that Jonestown thing that happened back in the 70s. I'm like, oh, what you mean outside of 9/11, the biggest single event causing the loss of human life of American civilians? You mean that old thing? that casual thing that's presented
That
as
annoyed
a
the crap out of me
semi-obscure
too,
reference.
because like
It's presented as like it's an obscure reference to something. I'm like, no, outside of 9/11, that was the single biggest death of an American civilian.
well, they also the other thing that bothered me about that is that like we know why Jonestown happened because people have studied it like crazy, and so they
Has to
had
do
a
with
had
math.
a supernatural explanation as to why Jonestown happened, which like you don't need.
Well, also the fact that this is like described as like a similar sort of event, like it's described as like it's a blitz because of the thing. I'm like, well, no, because Jonestown wasn't really chaotic.
No, it wasn't
No.
chaotic, but also like in Jonestown, there were people who, while the suiciding was happening, who were trying to escape, and they were shot.
Yeah.
People tried not to suicide, but they were shot. And the kids that were crying too much were also shot in the head.
No,
It was bad. Okay. Like, so it's not like we don't know what happened. We know exactly what happened. There were tapes. They taped it all. You can listen to them for free if
Which
you want to
also
know what happened.
because I listened to the Sword and Scale podcast episode on Jonestown recently, and because I'm like, I don't really want to listen to the death tape because, like, you know, it's depressing. But he plays a lot of the death tape in that episode.
I listened to the whole tape because while I was writing the Livescraft, a lot of that was like about culty stuff, and so I listened to the whole death tape, and it's really fucked up.
Yeah, like I went out to 60 and I just had this blank look on my face. He's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I'm just listening to like 300 children die from poisoning. And he's like, wait, what are you
He's like,
listening
Mara, are you okay?
Yeah, I wasn't okay after it. Like I remember like walking into my parents' room and just being like, "Can I have a hug?" And they were like, "The fuck happened to you?" And I was like, I listened to the Jonestown death tape and I shouldn't have, but like because you know while I was doing research for that, I was doing research on a lot of cults, and obviously Jonestown is the easiest one to research because we have the most information on it because of the tapes. And yeah, so like that's why that reference was just annoying because it's like, well, you don't need a supernatural explanation for it. We know exactly what happened.
Yeah. The main thing that triggered me with it though was just the way that it was said. Like it was like, you know, that whole Jonestown thing. You know, I don't know if you've heard of it. Like,
Everyone's heard of Jonestown.
Everyone knows what Jonestown is. Or you had to like this. If you're gonna have that as a thing, just be like Jonestown, and everyone would be like, oh, I know what that is. Yeah. Don't treat me like I'm stupid.
But like also, what also did like okay, it does also bother me though when people add in like this is such a nitpick, but things that are very easily explained without supernatural stuff being given like an extra layer of supernatural things where it doesn't belong.
Yeah.
So like if you wanted to say something like Jim Jones was like a sparkly vampire, like okay, fine. He was a sparkling, charming vampire. That kind of adds to it. But to say like that, oh, it was actually because of this when we already know what happened is kind of like that to me is where I'm like, okay, now that's dumb.
Yeah, like if you made him some kind of like fae that is like, you know, like extra good at their charisma. It's like, oh, well, that's kind of cool because, you know, like, yeah, he talked hundreds of people into mass suicide.
Right. Well, that adds to the explanation. And it's kind of like that. It's kind of like and that's kind of like how Patricia, sorry to go back to Mercy, that's kind of how Patricia Briggs does it, where like she adds two things in ways that make sense, whereas this was just like, instead of the explanation that actually works and that we actually know about, here's a different one that's stupid.
Yeah, like I don't like because it seems to me as well. Just because we meet at least one other Hellion, right, in the series, and just based on their what they're like a Hellion of blahness, it sounds like they're like the Hellions are of the 7 deadly sins. Because we've got greed, we meet envy in this book, we get to meet wrath later in the series. Wrath pops up. What hellion would blitz a Jonestown with what motivation of the 7 deadly sins?
I don't even.
It's not greed. It's not wrath. It's not gluttony. It's not sloth. Yeah, no, not sloth. It's not envy.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things.
What's the other two?
I forgot.
Is Addie gonna Google?
Oh
yeah,
god.
thank you, Maddie. Do a Google for us.
Not the manga. I have seen that anime. That's, lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath,
It's
envy,
definitely
pride.
not lust.
It
Although-
is lust.
Although maybe a
It's
little
lust.
bit.
It could
but
be
like,
pride. It could be pride.
but like not enough to make what the hellion of suicide. Like
Like, I guess like the suicide thing was like, you know, I don't know, like the only one I could tangentially relate it to would be pride, because he's just like, no, this is my thing that I made, and you're not going to take it away from me, so we're all gonna die.
yeah, maybe, but like
That's
not
the
enough.
I know. I'm just saying that's the closest tangential connection.
Yeah,
I
so it
can make.
doesn't even fit with like the lore, and also yeah. So anyway, where were we?
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, we're like in chapter 5. So
Okay.
yeah, so Addie was like, is the plot of this book really just Sabine's existence? Yes, Addie, it is. Yeah, she declares war over Nash, and it's like, okay, here's another thing I find irritating in books is when people are like, I'm declaring war over this person, and it's like, first of all, they're not a piece of land. Like, you can't declare war over a person, because
I
also
declare war over a de facto claim on the Nash territory. That's what Sabine did.
right, yeah, and it's like, no, that's not, because like Nash ultimately gets to choose. So even if you win the proverbial war,
Nash can still be like, "Fuck you."
Nash can
Sabine.
still be like, I choose whoever. Nash can be like, I
choose
choose
neither of
you.
you.
But,
No,
like,
I choose me.
Down the hole.
yeah, he can be like, I choose a fleshlight because you guys are really weird and I don't like this anymore. Like, he doesn't have to pick either one of you.
Yeah, like it's one of those things as well, like, because this is a plot point in so many movies as well and stuff, like where it's like, you know, we'll do our own little competition and whoever wins gets the guy or gets the girl. And
I was like, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
What if he doesn't want either of you?
It's like that is not how this works.
Or what if the person is just like, no, I want the loser. You can't make me love you just because you two had a competition.
Yeah, like your rock paper scissors contest doesn't determine my boner. Okay, I'm sorry.
I mean, and again, we'll go back to the thing because like Sabine's just like, you know, I'm gonna win because I'm gonna fuck him.
Yeah.
Sabine's like,
let's just say as well though, like, to be fair, he is a teenage boy. She has a point.
Yeah. Yeah.
She does kind of have a point.
Well, and we'll say what we said last stream, like, and this isn't, and I'm not saying like you should force yourself to have sex with anybody. My point is simply that if like you feel like you are ready to have sex in general, but you do not want in any way to have sex with the person that you're with, then maybe you don't like them.
Yep.
And also, because I also feel like like guys, especially, seem to get like, you know, treated like pieces of shit because they're like, they don't want to be with someone who doesn't want to have sex with them. I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah.
Call me crazy. It's fine to say, you know what? No, I'd rather someone who will bang me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, that's totally valid as well. And
like, as much as sex should be consensual, abstinence should also be consensual.
True.
Yeah, for sure. And again, because it seems like Kaylee wants to do Boink, just not with Nash, which is fine. But if you want to do Boink, but not with your boyfriend, maybe he shouldn't be your boyfriend, is what I'm saying.
I'm just gonna sit quietly.
I'm just fucking. It's just so frustrating. Like, don't date people you don't like.
Let Nash get his dick wet, okay?
Like, good
Let
lord.
Nash get what he wants, which is
I can't
Sabine
even-
right now.
So,
Well, he needs Sabine.
But he also wants
okay, yeah. Also, this chapter 5 is also where Todd is like, "Hey, by the way, she's not human," but then he doesn't explain it.
Yeah, because she's like,
okay,
no. Nash needs to tell me this.
Yeah.
oh,
So
it's
then,
just like, I can't believe Nash never told me, and he'd even said to her in the conversation that had immediately prior, he's like, I need to tell you stuff about Sabine. I don't think it's appropriate conversation for the school hall though, so I'll tell you after school.
yeah. So Nash wants to talk to her, but someone's about to die. Another teacher's dead. So yeah. So then we learn that she's Amara, and then she does it while people are like dreaming, and so then she's really angry that like about like the dream that she had, which she does have a right to be angry about the fact that like, Sabine is targeting her in her dreams. That's fair.
Yeah.
And Nash is consistently like, I'll handle it, but like he never handles it, which he can't really handle it.
No.
He doesn't have a way to handle it. But
You know, like, I get it. Like, I get Kayla's frustration, and this is one thing where Nash was driving me crazy in this book, because he's just like, don't be mean to Sabine, even though she's tormenting you every time you fall asleep, okay? And Kayla's just like, but fucking why? And I get that. I'm Team Kaylee in that conversation.
Yeah, with Kaylee, I'm in Kaylee's corner there because she's like, I literally can't sleep, you piece of shit. And he's
I'm in
like,
Kaylee's corner on any sleep issue because this bitch hasn't slept in 4 books.
yeah,
She hasn't gotten to sleep.
Maybe that's why she's a raging like piece of shit, because she hasn't slept in 4 books.
Dude, I don't blame her then. At that point,
You know what? Yeah, no, at this
you
point,
get to be a raging bitch.
Maybe it makes sense.
Yeah, like, but then also, what was I gonna say? I am not Team Kaylee though. Whenever like, because like then she's like talking about being like, why can't you just not? And she's like, because then she'll die.
And Kaylee's like, well, she should not anyway. And it's like, Kaylee, stop it.
Are you telling her to kill herself, Kaylee? That's not very cash money of you.
and not just you know, like a nice, quick, easy, simple like, you know, suicide. Like just
starve yourself to death.
Yeah, it'll take weeks. It takes about 3 weeks.
Yeah,
person to starve to death.
And she's also like, oh well, he could, you know, she could do it to bad people. And he's like,
what do you want to do? Walk her to jail?
And she's like, well,
why can't she just
he's like, well, she can't fly there, so she has to be asleep and vulnerable at the same time, and you know, so she has to pick targets. Like it's just one of those things. But also, like here's the thing. Here's why, in my opinion, what Sabine has to do is not that bad. So, like, everybody has nightmares.
Yeah.
Okay, like everybody has the occasional nightmare, and
I have chronic nightmares. She loved me.
I have chronic nightmares as well. Most of the dreams I remember are nightmares. I have nightmares like almost every night.
Yeah,
so
same. She would love us.
Yeah.
I have many ways.
And sometimes man, kind of stupid. Like last night, my nightmare was that Jinx could talk, and he was a Great Dane, and he was just telling me he doesn't love me. That was my nightmare last night.
My nightmare was what I texted you about. Was it today? Yeah, that was my nightmare.
Yeah.
Because it really genuinely scared me because we put so much effort into this, and if it just ends like that, I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah,
that was part of my nightmare.
My nightmares are worse, and sometimes like I'll wake up crying and stuff. But like either way,
sometimes they're fucking funny.
Sometimes they're genuinely upsetting when they're happening. Like I was really upset in the moment, but now that I'm like,
I was
great.
too.
Okay. But either way, a lot of people have nightmares. And so like if I had a nightmare, I wouldn't know it. I would not know the difference if Sabine gave me the nightmare versus like a normal nightmare.
Yeah, and as Sabine had said as well, like, you know, she's got enough, like she's not cruel with it. Like she's like, look, I take just enough energy that they don't even miss.
Yeah.
You know, I imagine if she's feeling particularly hungry that night, she'll go to 3 different people.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing that
have like a little snacky snack on all 3.
the other thing is that like nightmares are typically about what you're afraid of anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like, especially with you, and also like, you know, we're all afraid that our dog won't love us anymore. And so like nightmares are a lot of times about what you're afraid of anyway. That's what
had
they're.
a nightmare once that I was launching a Mario Kart game. Like I had designed Mario Kart and I was launching it, and we were at this giant party and it was awesome. And he left at like 3:30 in the morning because he had to do laundry. And I was like, "You're cheating on me! You're cheating on me!" And I was so mad at him when I woke up the next morning. You remember that? I remember when I woke up and I was actually mad at you because you left my Mario Kart launch party to go do fucking laundry and you were actually cheating on me.
I've had many dreams like that.
That one, I will never forget that one because it's so stupid. But at the same time, never leave me at 3:30 in the morning to say you're doing laundry. It's a deep-seated fear now.
Let's be honest, any guys leaving anywhere to say that they have to go do laundry is a red flag at any time of day.
True.
Oh shit, man, I gotta go do laundry right now. Yes, right now. Right, I'm late for my laundry appointment with my washing machine.
Yeah.
My washing machine's waiting for me at home.
The face Noah just made of me. So fuck off. So another teacher's dead, and then so we got through all that.
Yeah, and now we get to have the argument where like Dash is like, I need Sabine, and she's like, what do you mean you need her? Was she in your room last night? Nash, was she in your room?
Oh my god, the room
until 2 a.m.
Was she in your freaking bedroom, Nash Hudson?
Where was she? Was she on your bed, Nash? Oh my
I
god!
really wish that Nash was a nickname because I feel like it would have had more depth if it was like National Hudson or something. You know?
Nashville Hudson.
What else would we call it?
Dexter.
Sorry.
Or maybe middle name or something. But yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, tell me the truth. Where was she, Nash?
And
did you touch her? Did you look at her for too long, Nash?
Yeah, so she's very upset that like he and Sabine spent alone time together. But Nash is literally like, first of all, we aren't dating. Second of all, you won't talk to me. And Kaylee's like, yeah, fair, but like you shouldn't talk to anybody else. And Nash is like, if you would speak to me, I wouldn't need her. And he's like, and she's like, I don't care. And he's like, okay, I'm gonna go talk to her now since you won't talk to me. And she's like, no.
Because he even says as well, he's like, I was pacing my freaking front porch trying to talk myself out of going to go pay a guy to do a transport so I could go get a demon's breath. And Sabine showed up. So she distracted me from my cravings, you know?
Yeah.
And she's like,
he's like, I need her to not relapse.
And he's also just like, she's also the one person that isn't judging me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, you are literally a ball of judgment, which is not helpful right now.
Because also, she's like, why can't you talk to any of your? Because also, he's got 2 best friends. Doug's dead. He's dead, so he's not an option. Scott, he is in the loony bin.
Yep,
and everybody thinks that Scott's doing, like, Scott and Kaylee were doing a cheaty cheat, and Nash found out, and that's where a thing happened, and that's why Kaylee and Nash broke up. That's what everyone thinks. So no one, and yeah, one of his best friends dead. The other one's in the loony bin that is rumored that his girlfriend cheated on him with. So obviously as well, no one's really, there for Nash at school. No. But also, no one. Sabine's the only person outside of Kaylee and Emma and Todd that knows that there's a thing, and Emma still doesn't actually know the whole truth either.
No,
she just knows that Nash somehow did a bad, and now they're broken up.
Yeah.
So Nash has no one except Sabine who he can talk to, and he's like, yeah, and she's like, well, why can't you hang out with your brother? And he's like, because he won't even talk to me. That's
Well,
what
he's so
he
pissed
won't
of
even
what.
talk
Yeah.
Well, and he's also just like, and I can't talk to you because you don't want to talk about it, and you also will, and also like the only thing Kaylee wants to do is talk about how sorry Nash is, and Nash is like, I can't be sorry forever, and she's like, well,
Yeah.
how dare you?
How many times do I have to say I'm fucking sorry, dude?
And she's like, forever, and he's like, I can't live like that, and she's like, well,
Yeah.
no,
And then there's also like, because then she's like, you know, getting really like cranky with him during this conversation. He's like, I'm not making a play for sympathy. Like I did this to myself, but also like sometimes I need a bit of help to get myself out of shit. Okay, I'm human, not banshee, but you know. And then like he said, like he even says like, I need someone to just hang out with, and you're not willing to play that role. So
Yeah.
what am I to do? And then her response is, did you love her? Did you love her, Nash? And he's like, yeah, I did years ago, if that's okay with you. She's like, well, that's not okay. You're too freaking bad.
he's like, and he's just literally like, if that's not okay with you, then be the person. If you don't want to be the person, then you have to be okay with this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to relapse, and I need a distraction. I don't know what you want from me. And she's like, I want you to be alone and just wait for me on a shelf.
Yeah.
Want you on my back burner.
Like Nash needs a support network, okay? And his mom, like, bless her, one, it's his mom though, so he can't talk to her the same way he can talk to you know, someone.
Yeah.
And two, she's got a job.
Yeah, she has shit to do.
And she generally works night shift, which means that, you know, when he's like, if she was working during the day, like while he was at school, it would be different to an extent. But yeah, he's meant to spend like, you know, all night by himself, just sitting there, fighting the cravings on his own. And I'm like, it's a really addictive substance, Kaylee. He's trying. Just let him have a friend.
Yeah. So
That's so mad.
So yeah, she winds up. Why does she wind up calling Nash?
She has another nightmare in chapter 7, and then chapter 8 she calls Nash and she's like, I had a nightmare. Wee! Tell Sabine to get out of my head.
Yeah. So now now Nash is okay. Yeah, Nash got really angry that Alec was staying at her house because he was like, how
So you're
could
mad
you?
that Sabine was at my place and I can't be mad at you because Alec is staying on your couch? And she's like, yeah, but I don't want to boink Alec, nor have I ever boinked Alec.
Yeah, because she just goes, ew, he's 45. And I'm like, but you call like, in your head all the time, first of all. But like, and secondly, Kaylee's kind of right. But
physically.
Yes.
Is this the book you were telling me about with the girl who's in love with the teacher?
No.
Is that Pretty Little Liars?
I was probably telling you about a Choices book where you boink a teacher.
That's what it was.
Queen Bee?
Yeah, I was telling him about Queen Bee where you boink your professor.
Queen Bee, buddy.
Yeah, that was a Choices
That's
book.
No, book.
No, this is not the book where teachers get boinked.
Queen Bee is a much more overall enjoyable experience than this book.
I was about to text you the exact same thing.
But so
yeah, so Alec as well. Alec has like, I can't remember if any of the shifty shits happened with Alec yet, but Alec keeps acting a bit shifty throughout the book. Like Nash is trying to be like, Alec has been stuck in a hell dimension for like a couple decades.
He wants Boink.
He wants Boink because he's physically a 19-year-old boy.
And Kaylee's just like, no.
Yeah, she's literally just like, no.
Because also one thing that Kaylee is also not taking into account is because, you know, time moves differently there. So like if you're in a less populated place, like it could be like you're in the Netherlands for like, you know, a minute, but you've actually been gone for like an hour and a half. So Alec may be 45 years since his date of birth, but he may not have actually lived 45 years. He may have only lived like 30.
Yeah.
Also, just adding that in there as well. That he's not inherently 45 years old, and he's physically a 19-year-old boy. He has hormones. He wants to bonk you.
Yeah. So, and then we actually. So we bond with Alec, and also like Nash being upset about this is like annoying because it's hypocritical as fuck.
Yes.
So it was really irritating.
I think the main thing that Nash was annoyed about was the hypocrisy of the thing. He's like, look, I am a drug addict who needs support, and I'm trying to get support where I can get it. And you're yelling at me over it, and yet you have a 19-year-old guy sleeping on your couch every night. And you didn't tell me. I've been quite open and honest with you about Sabine.
But we have like I text you guys 0.5% character development with Kaylee, because when weird death shit's happening, she's immediately like, "Hey Dad, 2 teachers died in my school yesterday. It was pretty weird." And he's like, "Thanks, I'll look at that."
But he doesn't.
No.
Yeah, he doesn't. Like, he doesn't do it.
But she tells the parents immediately.
I know, but once again, though, like last book, when the parents find out, they're like, "We'll look into this," and they do nothing. This book, "We'll look into this," and they do nothing. Harmony brings them a dog at the end of the book. They get puppies.
So,
I mean, hey, it's pretty great.
So then we're mad at Nash again, and we're mad at Sabine because she can kill people with her eating thing. Like, she doesn't, but she has the potential to.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Kaylee, you have the potential to burst people's eardrums and stuff like that.
Well, Kaylee, you killed somebody to save your best friend. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, Kaylee has the potential to kill people.
And then, then Nash says the line, like, "You'll just have to believe me when I say that her problems are bigger than a bitchy cousin, an absentee dad, and a species identity crisis." Like,
I love it.
I will say, so, like, you can't be mad at someone for having the potential to kill people, because
like, everybody does.
Everyone has the potential to murder someone.
I could go kill someone right now.
Anybody could do that. Anybody could kill someone. And so is this where Nash and Sabine kiss, or like
Nash? No, this is when Nash and Kaylee kiss.
Okay. Yeah.
They kiss in the hallway at school.
Okay. So then Sabine and her argue. They argue a lot. Like, it's just a whole thing.
That's why I wrote "I wish I cared," because they literally argue all the time, and it's the same fight over and over again. It's "I want Nash. No, I want Nash. Me.
But I'll fuck Nash. But I'm not a whore."
Fuck Nash. Well, you're just a whore. That's literally it.
It's so exhausting. So then Todd is like, Todd is like, "This is weird."
Is that where we're up to?
What?
When he takes Kaylee on a field trip to Nash's house?
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Oh, where are we? What chapter are we on?
We're on chapter 10. Someone else in the school died. Now we're on chapter 10.
Someone else in the school died. And
homeschool. Okay, if my kids are going to this school, I'm like, we're homeschooling from now on, guys. Soz.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be that kid.
So it looks like, so then, Kaylee immediately thinks it's Sabine killing people, and then Todd is like, "No, it's not." Because all these people died while they were like asleep.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I understand where Kaylee's coming from.
Well,
but just because you don't like her doesn't mean she's a murderer.
Well, some of them, though, it's just assumed they were asleep. Like the first death, like the one that they found before school, they just assumed he was asleep at his desk. He could have had a heart attack while grading papers.
Yeah, so it's not whatever. But then we go to Chick-fil-A with Todd. She recommends that Todd gets a job as a pizza guy, and we stand that. I do love that. but so who has a bad nightmare? Where are we? Who?
Someone at the library.
Okay, yeah. So now we're looking for Sabine. Oh yeah, we punched Sabine. Whatever. Then Nash is like, "Did you hit my girlfriend?" And then
My other girlfriend.
and then Todd is also here, like, "Hi, you need to see Todd, like Sabine and Nash interact." And then
Now we do a sneaky sneak.
now we do a sneaky snick. And then basically all they're talking about is Kaylee, which is very sad for both of them.
Yeah.
So yeah, like because Todd can keep Kaylee invisible if they do a little hand-holdy thing while he's doing the non-corporeal. So he like flips her into Nash's room, and they're sitting in the corner. And yes,
this was the one fun moment of the book because it was her and Todd holding hands, and she was
I
like,
agree.
"I think I have fun holding Todd's hand," and I was like,
I
"Yeah, you do."
completely agree.
And so I was like, "Yes." Are we moving on? Can we please move on from the Nash bullshit? I am so done.
Yeah.
You skip from Stefan to Damon, please, for the love of fucking God.
Yep. So
Of
yeah,
course,
so in
feeling
this
Vampire
thing,
Diaries right now too.
yeah, so in this thing, like in this scene, like Nat, like when they first get in there, like their lions start doing the cute little lions on their bellies side by side on the bed, doing a little.
Look at the scrapbook.
Remember when we did the thing and his irises are all like swirly and Carrie's like, he remembers how he felt. So like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I would be upset, but I don't care about Kaylee, so fuck her.
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't get to be upset over this, Kaylee. But then, yeah, like Sabine, like they have like the heads positioned where they could almost kiss, and Nash is like, but I love Kaylee. And Sabine's all sad. And then and Sabine like looks over in their direction, and then they bleep back. And she's like, why would you show me that? And he's like, because you need to know that they like need each other.
Oh, but first he's like, Nash is like, read me, see what I'm afraid of. And he's afraid of losing Kaylee.
Oh, that's right. It's his deepest fear.
How is your deepest fear? Like
Losing Zoe Redbird.
Fucking right. I mean, that's Stark's worst fear. That's all Stark's worst fear. Like all of the Starks that exist, all of their worst fear is losing Zoe Redbird. Even if they haven't met her, that's their worst fear.
I quit.
I still love Stark. All right. I think he's
I
still
know,
redeemable.
Kaylee is Zoe, and it drives me crazy.
Yep.
She's Zoe with a high-pitched scream.
You know what? Since you're a guy, I have a question.
Oh boy.
At 16, would your worst fear be like losing your girlfriend?
No, it was still wasps.
Okay.
Hey, I have a question for science. At 16, would your worst fear be losing your girlfriend?
No. Okay.
Especially after half your
He said
family
no.
died.
Especially after your brother died and your dad died.
Yes,
Would that be
after
your worst fear, is
brother
losing your girlfriend?
Your dad dies, like,
No.
and your mom is the only family you have left.
A solid no.
And you'd met Hellions.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
No, you're not. You're definitely not Batman. You're not that cool.
No one said, are you trying to tell me I'm Batman?
No, you're not that cool. Your worst fear might be that you went through all that and you didn't get the cool gene. At this point.
Oh my god, stop.
I'm talking about Nash, okay? He's role playing Nash right now.
Oh,
no,
okay,
him. No, it's Christian.
Oh.
Okay.
Like, here's the thing: if you're like married to somebody or something, and like you don't have kids yet, I can understand like your worst fear being like losing
that
person.
I will say as well though, I feel like Stix's biggest fear wouldn't even be my kids dying; it would be me dying and him having to try and raise them without a mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've actually had conversations, and he's like, "Look, if you were to die, I'd mourn you for a minute, and then I'd be off trying to find them a new mother because they need it."
like,
And he's like, and I expect you to do this. And he's like, and I expect you to do the same because you're not enough and I'm not enough. They need the other one. I'm like, okay, fine. We can only single parent for 6 months after death, and that's our mutual agreement.
Yeah, like
time to mourn and then get back out there.
then re-download Tinder and let's go.
Yeah, no, he told me he'd be furious if I like perpetually mourned him because he's like, no, the children need a father.
Hey, would you be
So-
mad if I perpetually mourned you? If we had kids and like I just perpetually mourned you for the rest of my life?
Am I dead?
Yeah, you're dead.
Oh.
No, he's sitting right
He
next
said-
to you. And you're
He
mourning him.
said he'd be mad if I
If-
perpetually mourned him.
I'd be dead too.
But he said I'd be
He
dead,
didn't say
so
I was dead, so I was stuck in waking up to that. You used to be.
See, guys are too pragmatic about this. They're like, no, it's gonna be-
wait, you have to repeat that for the microphone. They have to hear that.
Said, oh,
Okay.
you used to be, but now you're a dad.
I would mourn like the man he was before he became a father. That's what he said in there. Oh, that's so hypothetical. Oh fuck, that was funny. Okay.
No, but no, guys are too pragmatic about it. They're like, no, look, like, shit has to move on, and like, you got children to raise. Like,
Yeah.
don't do a mourning forever. But yeah, no, I think that's what Stix's biggest fear would be, that he would be stuck trying to raise the kids alone.
That's fair.
Well, because he's a disciplinarian. Like, he doesn't quite know how, like, they don't ever want him to put them in the bath because mummy makes it a game. Whereas it's like, it's time to have a bath now, please. And they're like, now. Sorry.
So then,
Now we find out about Alec.
Okay.
yeah,
So,
so Alec is having
did they
weird
edit-
like, things happen, and then it's like, oh, Vari has been possessing him, and then Alec thinks he's been killing the teachers, and then Alec isn't totally human. He's half Hypnos, which means he can suck people dry in their sleep. And then they come up with like the password, like, what color was my bike in childhood? Oh, it was white with red ribbons. Okay.
And now we know that.
Now you know what would have been probably a better choice of passphrases, right? As soon as you ask the question and the Alec cannot answer it because it's not Alec, it's Avari, then when Alec comes back, you confirm, because you've been with him. Like, you keep him in your eyesight so you can't go and look through the family scrapbook. But once he's awake and confirms the new, like the thing, like, okay, now we need a different question because Avari now knows because that was a really random question.
Yeah.
It
needs to be like your security questions for your bank account. Every time you log in, you get a different question.
Yeah. But then also, or it could have been like a phrase, like, I really feel like some popcorn. And then if his response is, I actually prefer chocolate cake, then you know that it's Alec. Because
like it's like a safe word. Every time they see each other, they just both go eggplant.
Yeah, like
they're good.
you go peanut butter and he goes crackers, and then you're like, okay.
Yeah, but something like, what color was my first bike? Anyone can get that information.
Yeah.
And it's a really random question to be asking someone. So like, anyone with half a brain goes,
Security question.
Yeah.
Like, you just have a simple, like, oh, did you see the dog running outside? No, but I did see the geese. You wouldn't be weirded out if someone said, oh, did you see the dog running outside?
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh, no, I didn't see the puppy dog. Where is it?
And you're like, oh, it's Avari.
Ah.
You didn't say like the response, like, because like you need the response to be something like really random, like, oh, did you see the dog running outside? Like, no, but I did see the polar bear. And you're like, okay, because like that's something that you would not say in response in Texas.
Yeah. You haven't casual question that's not weird, and then a bizarre response.
Yeah. So in any case,
And you know what you also do? If you got a best friend who is at risk of anything, you keep her 100% informed.
but we're
Otherwise-
constantly keeping Emma uninformed and we never learn our fucking lesson.
Truth.
Because you know how Alec manages to fool them? Because Emma thinks that they're just playing a trivia game. So then when Alec's like, hey, what color was Kaylee's first bike? Like, but it was actually Avari. She's like, oh, the trivia game. I get to be a part of it. It was this. And then Avari's like, aha, I know the answer now.
Yep. But so the next day at school, Sabine is like, so, you can't fool me. I knew that you were in Todd's room last night. And Todd's like, you fucking what, mate? And so then the girls start arguing. He's like, you know what? I'm done with both of you. Like,
Oh, this is Nash, not Todd.
huh?
You said
Nash.
Todd. It's Nash.
Oh. Nash is like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm done with this conversation. I'm done with both of you right now. I'm deuces.
Yep, and it's really sad later as well. Cause like there comes a point where like I think it was, I don't know if he comes by or if it's when she's at his place or something. But he's like, look, yesterday I was like this close to getting back to my girlfriend, and I had my best friend, and now I got no one.
Yeah.
And all Kaylee has to say in response to that is, Sabine's your best friend.
Yeah, not like
And I know that it's supposed to be Envy's doing a thing with her brain, but not a single one of us. I forgot that, like that, whatever the fuck, NVIDIA. That's the
fucking NVIDIA graphics card is the stallion of envy.
I forgot that NVIDIA was supposed to be doing a mindfuck on Kaylee this book. And not a single one of us went, Kaylee's acting really weird.
No.
I didn't think she was acting strange. Is she supposed to be acting? Is that what we're supposed to be thinking? Because she's just acting like Kaylee.
Yes, no, she's supposed to be acting over the top, crazy jealous.
She's not. She's acting like herself.
Yeah.
And it never once occurred to me that she was acting weird. Even when I got the explanation,
Yeah.
I was like, no. I just rejected it. I
was
went,
like,
no.
I don't believe you, but
I
okay.
went, no. I went, oh, so it only affected. My brain literally rejected it and went, oh, so it only affected Sabine. It actually didn't sink in that it was supposed to also be affecting Kaylee. I didn't know.
Her behavior this whole book is supposed to have been affected by NVIDIA, and I don't like it's
Apparently,
like
apparently the NVIDIA graphics card is outdated and it cannot run the current game. So therefore, it was not effective on Kaylee. It was just her personality.
Like in Vampire Academy, when Rose just starts beating the shit out of people and like yelling at everyone and all that stuff, you're like, wow, Rose is acting really weird. Because it was weird.
Yeah.
This one, like long before we found out what was going on, we knew that Rose was acting really weird.
Yeah.
Whereas
we didn't question once if Kaylee was acting weird this book.
No.
We're just like, oh, Kaylee.
Oh, Kaylee, I want to kill you.
That's our protagonist.
Yeah, like it didn't occur to me that she was acting weird. And again, when I got the explanation, it did not sink in that it was supposed to be affecting her.
Yeah, no, I demand a new protagonist for the series.
Yeah, Todd deserves better. I'm sorry.
Well, so does Stark, but you know what? We still stand our men, or at least I stand Stark.
I stand Todd. I'm sorry. He's great.
I stand Todd.
You know who I demand as a protagonist, and because Never to Sleep is from her perspective? Sophie. I demand Sophie as the new protagonist.
Okay. So,
anyways,
from here,
yes, we're getting close. We have 10 chapters. We're in chapter 16, so Alec is being possessed. I don't remember what happens, but I didn't write anything down, so I guess it doesn't matter. Anyways, Nash invites her over, and she goes. So she tells Nash about Alec.
Was that at the movies?
No, that was at home.
Okay, the movies is after.
Yeah.
Yes. We gotta discuss that when we get to that.
Yeah, we will.
Oh, that's not next.
Yeah.
Okay. So she tells Nash about Alec, and he's like, "I'm telling your dad if you don't tell your dad." And then they talk, and then they make out, and then Todd's here to deliver the pizza that they ordered. Yay! And and then this is the fun scene where I don't like Nash like walks outside to get the pizza, but Todd comes into the kitchen with the pizza. So when Nash reappears, he has a completely topless Sabine with her tongue down his throat because she knew that Kaylee was there.
Yeah. Well, because did Nash invite Sabine over
I think so.
so that they could all chat? Like, what was the purpose of?
I don't know.
No,
I don't-
no, I think Sabine just rocked up to see Nash and saw Kaylee's car out the front.
Okay.
I was like, well, I guess it's time to take off my shirt.
Yeah.
and-
So Sabine is topless, and her, yeah, and so her tongue is down Nash's throat, and
Kaylee
and
freaks out and leaves.
and Kaylee loses her shit and eats. Which, I mean, look, if you're like, is Kaylee actively trying to get back together with him? She wants us to think so. And if
I
you're
also get running out on that. I would be like, okay, I'm gonna leave.
I need a
now.
minute.
yeah,
I need to leave.
She needs a minute.
like if you're actively trying to get back together with somebody, then like, yeah, I would leave too. That would be my cue to exit and never come back.
Yeah, but then
I would
She
be
goes to
done
Emma.
forever.
she goes to Emma, and she's like, "Ice cream party now!" So ice cream party at Kaylee's house with Emma.
And Alec joins in, and apparently it doesn't
Alec-
matter that Alec and Emma are cute together.
Yes, it doesn't matter
I'm
because
sorry.
Emma wants to back Alec, because she just thinks that he is a cousin.
Attractive.
She doesn't know anything about him. Just she thinks he's a cousin. But then Alec is like, hey, because then like I can't believe Nash kissed her back, and Alec, bless him, he's just like,
Can I
how
give you a
long-
dude's perspective?
He's like, how long was the mutual kissing? They're like, what do you mean? How is that relevant? It's like, look, if someone like just like pulls off their top and like max on you, like it's gonna take a second for you to go, wait, no, I shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
Noah, I have a question for science.
It's a trap. No,
So,
it's a trap.
so if somebody were to just take off their shirt and start kissing you,
Okay.
It's a woman, I'm guessing.
yes, a woman
Yeah, okay.
who was not me,
Okay.
how long would it take you to be like, no, this shouldn't be happening?
I mean, I would hope immediately.
But in
Realistically,
reality,
it's not a trap. Realistically,
So this is a dangerous question.
It is a
realistically,
dangerous
Okay, wait,
question.
it is a
wait, wait.
dangerous question.
Okay.
It is,
rephrase
but-
it, take
but
him a second
realistically.
to react.
Don't feel attacked. Realistically, because this is also a very outlandish situation. Okay, that I can't imagine how this would arise.
I'm trying to.
Because I imagine there would initially be like shock.
Yeah, there'd be some shock for a minute.
Would he actively kiss back?
I don't know. 30 seconds.
He's being very careful. Good job, Noah.
Do you think you would actively kiss back?
No.
No. Okay.
What if it was
Right.
Good answer.
What if it
What?
was his ex-girlfriend?
What if it was your ex-girlfriend though?
I can imagine his face right now.
Is he declining to answer?
He is. He's declining to answer that part.
Smart boy.
So that's a hard maybe.
I think
Trying to sleep on the couch tonight?
This is my house.
Doesn't matter.
can you
Anyway.
reassure him he's not in trouble?
What? You're not in trouble. But
It's
I
science.
am. I'm in trouble.
I'm in danger.
I'm in danger.
I'm in danger.
Anyways, okay. So Alec also is like, hey, so tie me down so I don't murder people when Alec or when what's his nuts. There's too many.
This was also genuinely funny.
I laughed
I
so
did
hard at
too.
this scene.
This was funny.
So they're like, okay, we need to find a place to tie you down. And she's like, okay, my bed works. I'll just sleep on the couch. It's fine. So they they have 3 of his limbs tied down to her bed, and her dad walks in, and it's just like, what the fuck? And she's like, this isn't what it looks like. Actually, I don't know what it looks like. And I'm like, it looks like you're doing some crazy little BDSM shit up in here.
Yeah.
You know what, Kaylee? Go for it.
Honestly, it was funny. Like, this was a genuinely funny, good writing moment. I liked it.
This is a very good writing moment. I really love that scene.
Also, a good way for her dad to find out what was going on. Because
Yeah,
him just
so now we
walking
tell
in.
Dad.
Because then him just walking in with like her tying him down, and he's just like the absolute fuck, and she's like, I can explain.
So she like word vomits everything at him, which is a fair reaction. And
Yeah.
he's just like, oh,
Yeah,
okay, we'll
she's like,
tie him in the
okay.
living
She's
room.
like, we're
Fuck.
not. She's like, okay, we're not. Can keep wanking. He's getting possessed.
Because Kaylee's fear was that Daddy would be like, Alec, you're being possessed by a Bari. You must leave. And Kaylee's like, but we can't make him leave because then there'll be no one to stop him when he gets possessed and stuff. And Dad's like, well, duh.
Yeah.
So we'll just
Well,
lock
yeah,
him in the living room.
Oh, yeah, because
I can keep him
Kaylee's
out.
like, we can't kick him out, and Dad's like, no shit, but he's not sleeping in your fucking room.
Tied down to your bed. Can you imagine if Todd had walked in on that? I want a rewrite of this scene where Todd walks in on that.
Do you reckon he'd cry?
He would just be like, so you're over Nash now, right?
So
So
it would just be like, why don't you ever do this with me?
yeah, like when's my turn? I want this. And then so it doesn't work that night. Avari still possesses and gets himself free by possessing Dad and then locking himself and blah blah. And so then he low key sexually assaults her. Anyways, next morning Sabine's in her car as she has to go to work, and she's like, "Fix me and Nash." And she's like, and Kaylee's just like, "It's not my fucking problem to fix you and Nash. Like, I'm sorry, it's not my fucking problem." And she's like,
Kaylee,
"Wah."
in fairness to Kaylee, she's also like, what motivation do I have?
Yeah. No, I agree with Kaylee in this thing. She's like, I have no reason to fucking help you, dude. I'm not gonna do it. You've been nothing but a bitch to me and stalking my dreams. Like, I'm good.
I mean, it's kind of also like really sad. They're like, what really breaks my heart in this is like later on when Sabine's like, but we're friends. And Kayla's like, how are we friends? And then like you realize that this is the closest that Sabine's ever had to a friend. Is her and Kaylee this book.
Because here's the thing, a better protagonist. Well, okay, I'll say it this way. Kaylee is supposed to be a good person. She's not, but she's supposed to be. So a better written protagonist who is supposed to be a good person would have been like, Sabine needs a friend.
Yeah.
And maybe I should be your friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. She should have approached it as a, look, I know you had a shit time with your life because you got abandoned as a baby because you creeped the fuck out of your parents. No one wants you because you're creepy. Obviously nicer. And stuff, and I would love to be able to try and do a friendly friend with you, and it would make Nash happy. But you gotta stop trying to fuck him.
And you gotta get out of my dreams, bro.
And maybe we can try and do a thing.
Yeah.
But the whole time it's like,
because Sabine's written in a way that Sabine would have been like, okay,
I'll try.
Sabine's written as a character who, like, with any kind of positive reinforcement, will just be like, I'll do whatever you want.
Not so much this book, though, because...
No, because in this book, if Kaylee had made that request, she'd be like, no, fuck you, I'm still going after Nash.
Well, yeah, I guess it's the influence thing. Yeah.
But, you know, all Sabine wants is a nice little pat on the head, and
she, like,
I grow fond of her.
Yeah. So,
this is the Todd heart-to-heart.
Yeah, so then anyway, Todd is here, and then Todd is like, you know, basically just like stop going after Nash and just let Sabine have him. And Kaylee's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's
And
in the whole you don't need each other thing. They need each other. And she ends up like thinking she's like, I mean, I want him, but is that really enough anymore?
because
And I was like, yes.
Todd even says Nash needs to be needed by his partner.
Yeah. And you don't need him.
And then Kaylee was like, yes, I do.
Not fair to Nash.
And then she's thinking about it and she's like, well, and she's like, no, I called him and stuff. And he's like, well, but
you
when
had
you
the
called
situation.
him, you had the situation completely handled by the time he got there. So you didn't need him.
You just wanted him.
And like, I mean, like obviously Todd has ulterior motives, but also Nash is obviously his brother who he loves enough to die for.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like this conversation was his personal boner inspired.
No, I don't think it was either. I think it was protection of his brother.
Because, like, yeah, Todd he's like, look, your relationship's fucked. It's done. You've outgrown Nash. It was what you needed when
you found out about you were Banshee, yeah.
Yeah, but that time has now passed. Please let him be needed by someone else.
Well, because like because like every situation that pops up in this book, she consistently goes to other people who are not Nash.
Yeah. One time she does go to him, yeah, she got it sorted long before Nash rocked up.
Yeah.
Which was like, oh my god, you ran all the way here? And he's like, yeah, but yeah. Hell yeah. And she's like, oh, I got that sorted.
Yeah. Yeah. So
You could have walked, Nash. It's fine.
Then a bunch of shit happens at school when shit starts getting weird. The 2 broken arms. I mean, like everyone's just kind of going
this is
psycho.
just like we already talked about this. So then, like, Avari possessed Alec again and is leaving like cryptic clues. He's going to Emma, but it's just Alec chilling there unless he knows the answer to a riddle. And then Avari
I called it.
And then like Avari kind of dropped him off there, and so then like after that, there's just more weird stuff happening at school. She overhears Sabine trying to fuck with Emma and her relationship.
But before that, at some point, Avari possessed Alec at work at the movies. Because that was before this.
Okay. What happened?
So she's looking for a theater where because Alec goes out to his car. Like,
oh yeah, I didn't write this down.
And then walks in and he's walking weird. Like she can tell that it's Avari.
This was the day that Sabine was in her car.
Okay. And so she finds the theater that he's in, and he's feeding on someone. She's like, no, stop it. And he's like, how well, I don't, maybe. She's like, get out of Alec. And he's like, make me. And she goes, well, I'll get you arrested for sexual assault. And he's like,
of a minor.
Okay. And she's like, you'll never get out of jail. And he's like, well, fucking fine. And then, so Avari yeets, Alec is back. And he's like, how'd you get him out of me without making a scene? And she's like, oh, I threatened to call the cops on him and say that you diddled me. And he's like, you tried to get me arrested for diddling a minor?
Let's try a different approach next time.
She's like, yeah, he's like, for my sake, please. Because she's like, I would have recanted. And he's like, that's really not the point. You can't just go around accusing people of diddling you, Kaylee.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be friends.
Yeah, he's like, please next time, no.
But yeah, no, now we're at Emma's house.
So, fuck me. Okay.
She's like,
I know, right? Now. You can see my notes deteriorate.
Can we
significantly
skip to the end? Because like nothing of interest happens. So basically,
nothing of interest happens.
There's like Hellions, and they're doing like a bad. And there's a blitz, and then the end.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, we talked about the end.
Yeah, we find out that NVIDIA and so
the graphics card.
Yeah, from the Noti time, it's been Avari, not Alec. Avari and NVIDIA have been possessing Sabine to kill people. So Sabine's been killing them, just not her body has been.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And-
does Sabine actually send Kaylee to the Nether like as Sabine, or is that?
I don't think it's ever. I think Sabine does do that. Sabine gives Kaylee a nightmare that makes her want to go to the Nether. So then Kaylee wakes up in the Nether.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
so
like, well,
that is
and
Sabine being a bitch.
I think it is Sabine.
Okay.
And Kaylee overhears Avari and Nvidia talking about, we need to get our 2 hosty hosts. And then she goes back into the thing, and yeah, Sabine's been like getting in Emma's ear, like, she never tells you anything. Oh, she also tells Emma that she's a nightmare.
Yeah.
And it's like, how absolutely dare you? And Sabine's like, it's none of your business if I tell Emma my secret.
Yeah.
Which, fair, by the way.
Yeah, it is fair. That's her secret.
And then like,
but yeah,
the
then
end
we
of-
find out that everything has been caused by envy. Kaylee and Sabine's whole arguing this whole book has been envy driven.
although like no,
No, it definitely has not.
I mean it has been, but like not because of outside influence. But like, so the end of the book is basically just like Sabine's gonna trade Emma for like it's like a massive swap-saroo, but then it isn't. And then
Yeah,
the
then
end.
everything works out fine, and then we get puppies and
Yep.
bracelets.
So Harmony rocks up and she's like, so these bracelets will hide your energy, so people won't be able to find you. And Sabine's like, well, they know where we live though, so they can still find us. And she's like, and that's why we get puppies. If there's Hellions on the other side of the divide, then the puppies will go grrr, and wake you up.
Wake your ass up.
Alec has moved out because he's got a big boy job now.
Yeah.
And he's got a puppy too and a bracelet, and Emma's got a puppy and a bracelet, and Sabine, and yeah, so Nash,
Everyone.
Kaylee,
Literally
Sabine,
everyone.
everyone
Sophie
gets
has
a
one
puppy.
too.
Yeah.
Sophie.
Everyone gets puppies.
And then that's like the end of the book.
I don't know what breeder she went to find like these dogs, but good for Harmony.
So
yeah,
when
they're
do
like half Pomeranian, half like Nether Hellhound.
Yeah.
we want to do the next one? So we can stop torturing Addie with our knowledge.
I'm just thinking Monday. I could do Monday.
Potential. Yes, I think. Yeah, I can too.
Because if we
Okay.
don't do then it'll be after Christmas.
Okay, Monday. Monday works for me.
Let me put it in my calendar.
Okay. But yeah,
Okay.
that's the book.
We'll
Like
be doing
this
If
book
I
was more or less a nothing burger, and it was mostly just like Sabine.
I kept on thinking we're close to the end, and then I looked, and I still have like 5 hours to go, and I'm like, how?
Yeah, I know. This book was like, yeah, there was just like not a lot.
The last 5 hours were torture.
It was like not a lot happened, and it was mostly just Kaylee being like, "I want Nash, but I don't want Nash." Me.
Oh, I'm ready for that to be over.
Dude, same.
Well, just wait, because then get because obviously Nash isn't going to be too happy with it. So just think about the worst possible
Oh,
attitude
no, yeah.
Kaylee to have, and be prepared for that.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, like the
Honestly.
drams are a lot.
As long as her and Todd make out, I'll be a happy camper. And I know that they're going to.
Like it's eventful.
Next
So
book.
anyway, next book Monday. So yeah. All right. So that's what we'll be doing, and then probably Morganville after Christmas. But yeah, so
Yeah.
we will.
Yeah, we got to get back to Morganville.
Yeah, so we will see you guys then. And yeah, thank you for